welcome to my channel. You're watching KNV Monsters. In today's video, I'm going to be going over my perspective from the VB Arena Fight Club January tournament. And the rules are very simple for this tournament. Basically anything goes, you just can't use duplicate monsters or stack abilities. So the team that I decided to bring into this tournament is going to be Alphamon Oryuken mode and Examon. Alphamon's got the UR ability that buffs its AP by 30% if I get an excellent on the minigame, and Examon is basically going to be my support monster with the HP buff in the back. My idea for this team is very simple. Alphamon's going to be my damage dealer and Examon will be my tank, and my idea is to just have survivability when it comes down to mirror matches or disadvantage type matchups, and this will be the first round for the tournament. I will be going up against Sally Mumble, and they are going to be bringing in Rassenmon and Lugamon for the first match. So let's get right into the battle. I decided to lead with Alphamon. Even if my opponent does go Rassenmon, which they do, I think Rassenmon is not too crazy of a monster to go up against when you're at a type disadvantage, and so I'm just going to depend on my Alphamon to do a massive amount of damage early game and then finish out the game with Examon. I'm doing a little bit more damage here. As you can tell, I believe Rassenmon's stats are kind of on the lower side. I decided to W attack here in hopes that my opponent is going to block with the Rassenmon. So it looks like they do, and the W attack does basically kill it, but it does get a Guts. And so it's got one more turn to do some damage, and then I'm basically up against the Fenrir Lugamon afterwards. I decided to block in the back for the W. Examon has higher health, and then obviously because the virus monster in the back is going to be coming out soon, my Alphamon will basically just burn it down quickly. "41 bubbles, that's pretty good. And yeah, so I'm just going to basically continue to block with Examon in the back just to keep Alphamon healthy. Alphamon's going to finish out the game. Lugamon, I think, is a strong monster, but in this matchup, I think Alphamon takes the win. As you can tell too, my opponent is hitting 80% on the bubbles, which is a pretty decent amount of damage. Looks like I got one more hit to do on Fenrir Lugamon and it should go down, unless it gets a Guts or something like that. To be honest, Fenrir is doing a decent amount of damage to Alpha. Even though Alphamon is a vaccine and is at the advantage, Lucamon's still doing a decent amount of damage. And that's the first match. I take the win on this one. Unfortunately, I don't have a screenshot of the second bracket, but I will be going up against Blade next. And Blade is going to be bringing in Examon and Fenrir Lucamon. A very scary team to go against. Looks like his Alphamon is going to be bringing in the UR ability, the HP buff, and then Fenrir Lucamon is going to be bringing in the SSR ability that buffs both monsters' AP by 20%. So this is going to be an interesting match. Looks like I get to go first on this turn, so I lead with Examon. Kind of made the wrong decision here. I should have just led with Alpha, as my gut was telling me. And my opponent read my move and went with Fenrir Lucamon. And so now I have to deal with this Fenrir with the data monster, which is not going to be too easy to do. As you can tell, I hardly did any damage to it. So looking back on this match now that I'm thinking about it, what I should have done is, even though I led with basically the wrong monster, what I could have done was I could have blocked in the back with Alphamon for turn 1, turn 2, maybe even turn 3, and kind of just bait my opponent into using a W attack on turn 4 or 5. At least that way there's less damage coming into my team because of the type advantage with vaccine. And I mean, this Fenrir already has me at half health for Examon, and Examon is supposed to be one of the best monsters on the list. But because of the type disadvantage, I am losing health very quickly. And so in retrospect, I think blocking in the back with Alpha would have been the better move to do, at least for 3 turns, at most for 4. And then that way I could then start blocking with Exa in the front, and so any W attacks that come in, at least Exa would survive, and probably would have been a better turnout for me. I decided to use the W right here. My opponent did get an 18% on their block, which is pretty good. Unfortunately, it's not enough. Fenrir Lucamon is still alive, and so I have to deal with this, and then my opponent also still has their W attack as well, so they decided to use it this turn. I go ahead and let Examon take the hit, and most likely it's going to die. So I'm left with Alphamon or Yukin mode to finish out the game. Basically, it's going to get rid of Lucamon quickly, and then I have to deal with Examon in the back for my opponent. So at this point, it doesn't look like I'm in a really good position. There's really nothing else that I could do at this point. Again, if I had done what I said earlier, is basically block in the back with Alphamon, at least that way, I would have had the Examon to tank a W attack if I timed it correctly, and then I could have at least finished out the game with more health on my Alphamon. Or not more health per se, but at least my opponent wouldn't have been able to get a W attack off and kill my monster. And then obviously I would have the W attack ready to go after that. But again, Examon is a really tanky monster. Alphamon's going to do damage, but it's not going to be nearly enough, especially because I've already been hit twice. So yeah, this game's pretty much over for me. There's really no way that I can come back from this. Even if I get a Guts, Examon has way too much health for me to do anything at this point. I could tell at this point too, I'm a little discouraged because my bubbles are kind of just going a little bit slower. I'm just kind of like, this is just practice for now. I might as well treat it as practice because I know I'm going to lose this match. Yeah, 10 bubbles. A little tiny small attack. Gotta go out with the bang. And Alphamon's pretty much dead. So yeah, that's the second match. I did get knocked out in the second round of the tournament. GG's to my opponents, Sally Mumble and Blade. It's a very fun tournament this time around. Unfortunately, there was only 8 players that signed up this time, which is kind of a bummer. I wish there was a lot more people to play with. And unfortunately, I don't have any of the other footage from the other players. Otherwise, I would have covered the rest of the tournament to the winner. But basically, Blade moves on to the champion bracket, which is a 3-way between Geo and Whitebird. So Geo basically made it up from the first round. Percy was a no-show, and then on the second round, Geo beat Grace, and Whitebird was knocked out in the first round, but because of the wild card bracket, he was able to make it up to the finals in the 3-way matchup. And so again, I wish I did have the footage from at least the final round to see who won the tournament, but Blade did take this tournament this time around. Blade was able to beat out Geo and Whitebird to take the championship. And yeah, that's pretty much my perspective from the January tournament. And if this is something that interests you, I would highly suggest joining the Discord so that you can sign up for the next tournament. There is a tournament coming up very soon, so stay tuned for that. I will have a video out and basically let you guys know all the details regarding that. If you like this type of content, if you race Digimon on the Vital Bracelet BE, then I would suggest getting into the Vital Bracelet Arena Fight Club. That way we can get some practice rounds in, talk about different strategies and stuff like that. Also, like and subscribe if you like this content. Let me know in the comments down below if there's anything that I could have done differently. I know that battle with Blade was a tough one, but it's always a tough battle with Blade. It's I never know who's gonna win whenever I go up against Blade. So thanks for watching, y'all. I really appreciate it, and stay tuned for the next video. I have 2 more tournament videos coming out, and I will get working on those right away. I'll have them up very shortly, and thank you very much for watching. You guys have a good one. I'll see you next time. Peace.